Hi, I'm Aggie from Mahogany Inclusion Partners. Our purpose is to make the world a more inclusive place. And we do that by supporting organizations to create environments that are inclusive and allow everyone to thrive. At Mahogany, we're delighted to support the Stephen Lawrence Day Foundation and the theme of this year, which is the power of learning. The desire to empower minds and shape futures really aligns with our values and how we try to impact the world. With the knowledge that we have from supporting hundreds of organizations over decades, we have developed some content for the Power of Learning Hub. This content is designed to support students as they move into the workplace. We want to help them grow and have amazing experiences at work. This video will focus on things which are important to reflect on and discuss before you enter into the world of work. These two things will help set you up for success as you enter into work and as you grow in your career. The first thing we're going to talk about is understanding the difference between educational structures, so that might be school, that might be college, there may have been a gap for a little while, and then the workplace. This is often a surprise for many. They don't realize that workplaces and educational establishments are quite different. So you being ready will really get you off to a really good start. The second thing we'll talk about is your professional identity. And this is who you are as a person and how you show up as a professional, how you show up at work. We will talk about how you get to understand this and how that can maybe help you choose careers and certainly help you choose the organization that you might want to work for. So let's start with the first thing, which is the key differences between education and the workplace. The biggest difference I would suggest is around your schedule. School, as you know, or college, as you know, will have a set timetable. You might know what days you're doing certain subjects, you know what time you're supposed to show up somewhere, you know the times that lunch potentially happens and your breaks. Work, however, works quite differently. In most cases, times aren't that set and there isn't that key schedule. So time management will be really, really important. Another key difference is how you are assessed. At school, you tend to be assessed at particular places in time or particular points in time, whether that's through exams or through coursework. Work, however, it's more continuous than that. You're assessed based on what you deliver and how you deliver. And that is quite different as well. There aren't necessarily clear points that where you're looking at from your grades and your assessments. Another key difference is around guidance, so where you get guidance and what that looks like. In the educational establishments, teachers tend to guide your learning, don't they? They have lesson plans, they potentially give homework. They are the ones who determine what you're being learned, taught even, at specific points in time. In the workplace, however, you're expected to take a bit more initiative and guide your own performance. You're set parameters, so you know what you need to deliver over the year, perhaps, over 6 months, perhaps, over 3 months, perhaps. And then how you do that, when you do that, and what that looks like tends to be determined by you, obviously depending on the job that you have. And then one more key difference that I'll talk about right now is that piece around individual work versus teamwork. Now in education, there is an element of teamwork, but mostly your final grade or your test score, whatever that may be, is determined by you and what you put in and how you perform in that test or that exam or the coursework, of course. In the workplace, it's different. Your grade or your performance tends to be around teamwork. Yes, there are things that you need to deliver, but you need to work with others to deliver that in most cases. So teamwork becomes really, really important in the workplace. So thinking about those pieces I've just spoken about, so teamwork, also potentially that guidance from teachers and the difference in the workplace, how you're assessed, and then also the schedule. What are some of those things that you can start to do now to get yourself ready for the world of work? The first one would be around your time management skills. I would suggest practicing how you really build those skills before you get to the workplace. An example may be to start maybe setting a schedule for yourself, giving yourself some personal deadlines that aren't connected to the school deadlines, and really working to make sure that without that pressure of the school deadline, you're still able to deliver as well. This will help you to get used to juggling tasks and prioritizing your work and setting your own timetable. The second key part, which is connected to working with others and your performance or your assessment being based on how you work with others as well, in a much bigger way than it would have been in education. So the second one's around building your communication skills. So really start building those with your colleagues at school. So whether that's entering into discussions or debates perhaps, or really thinking about your influencing skills and how you can work together on projects to really help yourself to enhance those skills. So those are things you can start doing to get ready for those differences between school and the workplace. So the second thing we said we're going to talk about that's really important to think about before you start working is that piece around your values and your beliefs and how they align with where you're going to work. So values tend to be principles, maybe rules, you can use that word, that guide our decisions and our actions. They're really important for us in life, but definitely important in the workplace because they shape how we interact with others and also how we potentially could feel about where we're working. When your personal values align with your organizational values, often it leads to a greater experience, a better experience even in the workplace, and you feel more fulfilled. And what we need to think about is how do you match your own values with organizational values to ensure that you're working for a company that works for you, and maybe even following a career that works for you as well. So let's look at that. Let's look at how we go about doing that. So the first thing that you can start to think about when you're thinking about that is, what are your own personal values? Now, often we don't spend time thinking about this, but I would suggest that's something that's going to be really helpful and powerful for you to do. So think about what really matters to you the most. Is it around having something new to learn or to do? So maybe that's pointing towards innovation. Is it maybe around ensuring that the world is better because of what you're doing, or ensuring that you're healing the world and not harming the world, and maybe that's around sustainability for you? Is it around really building your community? So really get to understanding what are those things that are really important to you, what really matters to you. And if you download the resources that accompany this video, that will help you to do that. There were some questions in there for you to think about that will help you to establish that. Then once you know what's important to you, start looking at the organizations and what they're talking about, what's important to them, and then understand whether that aligns with you. So to understand a company's values, it's a little bit of research for you to do. Now, most companies will have their websites, and on their websites, they'll talk about their mission, they might call it a vision, and they'll often talk about their culture or their values. Have a look through that, because that's a great indicator about what the company certainly wants to be and how they want to be. So have a look at that. Look at their websites, look at their social media. If you know any people who work there, maybe have a chat with them as well. If you don't, that's okay. And then also maybe expand that research to newspaper articles as well, and maybe some company reviews, just to get an understanding of what that culture may be or what their values may be. So once you have your values, you then have the organizational values. The last part, I guess, is just to match them. Do they match? Are there differences? Where are the differences? And are you okay with those? Now, it is most likely that you'll find organizations that have some of the values you like that marry yours, and maybe some that don't, or a lot of the values that marry yours and a couple maybe that don't. Finding an organization that matches your values 100% would be absolutely amazing, but I wouldn't suggest setting your sights that high, because I'm not sure that always happens that frequently. But I think ensure that in the main, the values match quite nicely. So those are the two things from video number one. Number one, considering what the differences are between your educational establishment that you've been in and the workplace. Really important so you're not surprised when you get there, and really important to start building those muscles so that when you do get there, you've already started to exercise those skills. And then number two, understanding how your values, what they are, first of all, and then also how they marry and align with the organization you're going to. So that's video number 1, and remember, please download the resources that are attached to this, because they will help you and prompt you in some of the things we've spoken about so far. Thank you, and see you on the next video.